Science has a name for the chemicals we find in plant foods. It calls them phytochemicals or plant chemicals. Let's listen in as Dr. Winston Craig teaches us about these divinely packaged protectors.
Two of the problems that we have here in America is that we eat too much without enough exercise, and we lack enough fruits and vegetables. If you look at the type of food that people commonly eat, the fast foods, what are they like? High in fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, salt, sugar, and they're generally low in fruits and vegetables which contain fiber, vitamins and minerals, and phytochemicals. The problems with this diet that is high in fat and calories and salt is that it leads to obesity, and obesity is associated with heart disease and cancer, diabetes and high blood pressure. And one of the dietary guidelines for Americans is that we should choose a diet with plenty of grains, fruits and vegetables. The diet that's recommended by the World Health Organization is a diet which is low in fat and saturated fat, high in complex carbohydrate, characterized by a frequent consumption of vegetables, fruits, cereals, legumes, and they even designate how much. A daily intake of about 14 ounces of fruits and vegetables and about an ounce of beans, nuts and seeds specifies very clearly the amount. Now this is a considerable amount for many Americans, and this diet should be consumed rather than one containing substantial amounts of whole milk dairy products, fatty meats and refined sugars. In the famous diet study done in China, they found the Chinese eat 60% less fat, but 3 times more fiber than Americans. What is the consequence of this? Well, we see that American men have 20 times more death from heart disease than Chinese men, and American women have 5 times more death from breast cancer than Chinese women. So we see that plants provide protection. A generous use of whole grains, fruits and vegetables, legumes provides protection against heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes and osteoporosis. And we're all familiar with the famous National 5-a-Day program. You can see on the graphic here, 5 a day for better health. 5 fruits and vegetable servings a day as a minimum to ensure good health. And the recommendation of many health organizations are that we should consume at least a minimum of 3 servings a day of vegetables and 2 servings a day of fruit. And which ones? Well, especially the dark green vegetables, the cabbage family, cauliflower, broccoli, yellow, orange and red fruits and vegetables, and also the citrus. These are all important. Studies show very clearly that persons with a low fruit vegetable intake have twice the risk of many cancers, stomach, colon, pancreas, breast and others, compared to a high intake. And the vegetables, they can be either raw or cooked, doesn't matter. Now as you can see from this graphic, those who consume vegetables less than 5 times a week have twice the risk of colorectal cancer than those who consume vegetables twice a day or more. As we can see from this next graphic, those who are consuming less than 2 servings of vegetable a day have about 45% greater risk of breast cancer than those consuming 4 to 5 servings a day. In the next graphic, we see a progressive decreased risk as an increased intake of green vegetables are ingested for men in terms of risk of prostate cancer. Now, the National Institutes of Health have spent millions of dollars researching various plant foods to see which of the foods actually have protection against cancer. And here we have a list of some of the protective foods. We have soya beans, which are rich in genistein and isoflavone. Then we have cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli and Brussels sprouts, all of which are rich in indoles and isothiocyanates. Again, a different phytochemical which we get from eating these vegetables. Tomatoes, which are rich in the red pigment lycopene. Sweet bell peppers, the umbelliferous vegetables, carrots and celery and so forth. These are rich in phthalates and polyacetylines, which also protect against cancer. Cucumber. Then we have garlic, onions and chives, all members of the allium family. These are rich in sulfides that protect us against cancer. Flax, which is the richest source of lignans. Ginger, which has gingerols, and turmeric, which has curcumin, anti-inflammatory agent and also anti-cancer. And then we have a whole range of mint herbs, basil, oregano, rosemary and thyme, all of these protective. And then we have the whole grains, brown rice, whole wheat and barley oats, also contain anti-cancer property in the polyphenolics. Citrus, which has a whole variety of phytochemicals, other fruits such as cantaloupe and berries. And here we see in the next graphic a list of over 100 different phytochemicals in citrus. Flavonoids, more than 60, limonoids, over 40, carotenoids, over 20, glucurates and terpenoids, all of these phytochemicals in one orange to protect us against cancer. Now, in addition to cancer, our fruits and vegetables can also provide protection against heart disease. In this study of 11,000 vegetarians and health-conscious people, consuming a serving of fresh fruit every day was associated with a reduction of 24% in coronary heart disease mortality, while raw salad, a serving a day, about the same, 26% reduction in coronary heart disease mortality. In this next graphic, we see that fruit and vegetables also reduce the risk of stroke, about a 30% reduction in the risk of stroke when a lot of fruits and vegetables are consumed compared to very few. Further research on tomatoes actually shows that the yellow jelly around the tomato seeds contains an interesting anti-clotting factor. They found that the jelly from 4 tomatoes reduced the risk of blood clots about 72%. Such material is found in other foods like strawberries and melons and grapefruit, but to a lesser degree. So with all of this information, you might say, are we eating enough fruits and vegetables? And if we aren't, why aren't we? Well, the data shows that many Americans are not eating the 5 a day as we are recommended. And when surveyed why, it's interesting to find that many people, in fact 1/3 of Americans, believe that you can have good health simply by eating 1 serving of fruit and vegetable a day. Another third said 2 servings a day would be adequate for optimal health. So you can see we have a long way to go. In fact, a recent survey showed that the consumption of green leafy vegetables was only about 1 serving every 5 days. So you can see we have a lot to go in terms of increasing our intake of green leafy vegetables. Now, in general, with fruits and vegetables, colour means protection. The outer leaves are richer in phytochemicals than the inner leaves. The outer pulp of the fruit is richer in flavonoids and other phytochemicals than the inner pulp. And the dark skins of nuts and beans are also loaded with antioxidants and phytochemicals which are health promoting. And of course, in whole grains, the bran and the germ are very rich in phytochemicals. So you can see we need to be concerned about eating the whole plant, or at least the whole fruit or vegetable, and particularly the outer part is very rich. If we look at lycopene, which is the red pigment, a carotenoid in tomatoes and also in red grapefruit and also watermelon and guava, research shows that a high intake of lycopene is associated with a 14% reduction in LDL cholesterol, a 50% reduction in heart attack rates, and a 35% reduced risk of prostate cancer. So certainly eating your tomatoes is very desirable. And you've all heard about wine and grape juice. Well, grape juice, purple grape juice, has a variety of antioxidants, and these antioxidants prevent the risk of a blood clot. So you don't need to drink your wine. Just 1 glass of purple grape juice a day will suffice. And then there is the soy story, the secrets of soy. Soy will lower your cholesterol. Soy will protect you against various cancers. It's being used for hormone replacement therapy and prevents in bone loss. So soy certainly has a lot of goodness tucked away in there. And as you can see from this graphic, women who eat tofu more than 4 times a week have about a 30% reduction in breast cancer rate compared to those who eat tofu less than once a month. In this next graphic we see 3 major health studies which illustrate the reduction in heart disease risk of 30 to 50%, even 60% from a regular use of nuts every day compared to not eating nuts. Further studies have also looked at the effect of feeding human beings in a clinical trial different nuts, walnuts, almonds, peanuts, pistachios, pecans, hazelnuts, macadamia nuts. In all cases, the bad cholesterol is reduced. Isn't this amazing? So you can choose any nut that you like to eat it regularly, and you can enjoy this benefit. Whole grains are also protective. Those who consume a lot of whole grains compared to those who consume few have 33% lower heart disease, 43% lower stroke, 38% lower risk of diabetes, and 34% less cancer. So all of this brings us to the food pyramid, which shows that we should be focusing, we should be concentrating on the lower half of the pyramid. The fruits, the vegetables, the whole grains, the rice, the pasta, the cereal. This is where we should be getting most of our calories from. So in summary, we have seen whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables and nuts contain health-promoting properties that lower the risk of heart disease, stroke and various cancers. And consuming a variety of plant foods supplies a wealth of phytochemicals and ensures optimal health. So I'm sure you can agree with David in Psalm 66 verse 5 as you've looked over this phytochemical story that his works are awesome. Come and see what God has done. How awesome are his works in our behalf.
Have you ever wondered about the value of vitamin or other supplements? Can we get too much of a good thing? Let's listen in as Dr. Neil Nedley addresses these important questions.
With all of the benefits that you have heard in regards to phytochemicals, I would like to give you a word of caution. Phytochemicals can be very healthy, not only in their whole plant foods, but also in the capsules and in the bottles. But there are also some risks to taking phytochemicals in a bottle form. For instance, L-tryptophan, an amino acid that is very healthy for the body. In the manufacturing process, a toxin was produced that produced a disease called eosinophilic myalgia syndrome and death in many individuals. Another toxin that has been present in a recent study of calcium supplements is lead. Lead is not healthy for the body. In fact, it can cause nerve damage. And the most commonly consumed calcium supplement today, calcium carbonate, does contain small amounts of lead that, if taken over the course of many months and years, can produce significant problems. Even healthy supplements such as chaparral can be harmful to some individuals, causing fulminant liver damage, and death has been reported as a result. Vitamins such as niacin, which we need every day in our human bodies, if used in excess, become a drug, and drugs can have side effects. Niacin in high doses I prescribe to lower cholesterol and to lower triglycerides in some individuals, but in these same individuals, a certain percentage of them will end up with liver inflammation and even bleeding from their stomachs. Thus, they need to be monitored by a physician or a healthcare professional when they're taking mega doses of certain vitamins and minerals. In addition, taking a calcium supplement, even if there is no contamination, can produce problems in megadoses simply by shorting ourselves in magnesium. Calcium and magnesium take the same carrier to go from the digestive system into the circulation. And if we're overdosing on calcium, there aren't going to be enough carriers left to carry the magnesium across, and thus magnesium deficiency can occur. In some vitamins, it can have the opposite effect. Vitamin C, for instance, can actually absorb too much iron, cause too much iron to be absorbed. This iron is a pro-oxidant, and in excess can cause heart disease and cancer. I think it's very important to consider that if we're going to be consuming phytochemicals in a healthy state, the best way to get them is from the whole foods. I'd like you to look at this slide that shows that the power of whole plant foods exceeds that of their component parts. 1 cup of cooked kale has 50 milligrams of vitamin C and 13 units of vitamin E. The antioxidant potential of 1 cup of kale is equal to 800 milligrams of vitamin C and 1,100 units of vitamin E. You can see that that is much greater than what is actually present in the kale. And that's because of all of the other potent phytochemicals that are present in kale, profoundly increasing the antioxidant potential. I have a listing here up on your screen of the top 10 antioxidant fruits. You can see tomatoes, apples, bananas, white grapes, grapefruit, kiwi are excellent sources. Red grapes are the 4th highest antioxidant fruit. Oranges the 3rd, plums the 2nd, and the top is strawberries. Now the top 10 antioxidant vegetables. I should mention this does not include legumes, which would also be very high, but you can see corn, onion, red bell pepper, beets, broccoli, alfalfa sprouts, Brussels sprouts. Spinach is number 3. The kale that we've been talking about is number 2. And the top source is garlic. The best way of getting your phytochemicals is by eating the whole plant foods and eat them in a variety so that we can achieve the greatest optimal health. If you do need to take supplements in a disease state, do so under the supervision of a health care provider, particularly if you are taking them in megadoses.
Planning your exercise program will make it much more joyful and safe. Physical activity is a stress on your body, and you have to follow the principles of health to be sure that you don't overdo. Warming up properly, progressing slowly are good ways to ensure that you don't overdo. If you should encounter any signs or symptoms of physical intolerance, you should stop and check with your physician. Such things as prolonged fatigue, drop in motivation, or any medical symptoms like chest pain, arm pain, jaw or leg pains are indication that your exercise is too much. Exercise is a medicine. Take it in the right doses.
Ethnic foods are so fun. One of my favorites is Spanish cuisine. So let's join Barbara in the kitchen and see what's cooking.
I want you to meet my friend Zinia Agosto from Puerto Rico. When she told me that she was doing vegetarian food demonstrations on television in Puerto Rico, I asked her if she would please come and share with us. And we're so thankful that you did.
Thank you. I'm happy.
You know, it seems like the common denominator with Puerto Rican or Mexican or any type of Spanish cuisine is beans and rice.
Yes, in Puerto Rico we use rice and beans, and in Cuba they use black beans with rice too. So, and that's a main staple here in the Caribbean.
I see, yeah. Well, we've shown you how to prepare beans in the crock pot, but Zinia actually did these. You said you soaked them overnight and then boiled them?
Yes, that's one of the best way to do the beans. You take the beans, you wash them, and you soak it overnight. And then in the morning, you just prepare them as usual. You put the water off and put some more fresh water and start cooking it while you do other things.
I see. Well, that sounds easy enough. Now, what do we have here? What type of beans do we have?
Okay, the beans that we're going to be presenting today is pinto beans. These beans are softer than the regular one. That's why the Mexican use those best.
I see. And you like to use the pink beans, is it?
Yes, I like to use pink beans on this too. You can, in Puerto Rico, they use different kind of beans. Pinto beans, black beans, red kidney beans, regular red beans, garbanzos.
So you've got a lot of variety in all those
Yes.
different types of beans. Well, it sounds really good. Now, she's prepared all these beautiful dishes, and it seems that in most of these you've used the mashed or the refried beans.
Yes, and it's convenient because with one main ingredient you can do different dishes right now.
So it's really versatile. Okay, so you can use the beans that you've cooked, or can you also use canned beans? We have some here, I think.
Yes.
Just some regular
canned
pintos?
Canned pintos, or you can use the Taco Bell brand. it's a very good one. It's a simple ingredients, and it's refried beans already.
I see. And yet, I don't know why they call them fried when actually these have no fat in them at all.
Yes.
So they're fat-free, and yet they're ready to go. But it's pretty, looks like it's pretty easy to make these at
it's
home.
simple,
Now, how would you go about that?
Okay, let's do some of that right now.
Okay.
Okay, let's put some of the beans in the blender.
Okay, so this is just a regular blender.
Yes, and the soaked beans.
Okay,
Okay.
and we'll give it a whirl. There we go. Okay, now what are you going to add to these?
Well, what we're going to do now is saute the onions, but instead of using oil, so we're going to do an oil-free. So we're going to put some water.
I see. So you're actually going to steam the onions.
Yes, it's
All
really
right.
steamed.
This is great. So we won't have any added fat,
added
just the
fat.
fat that occurs naturally in the food. That's wonderful. Okay, so water, onions, and we'll put a lid on there.
Yep.
And that'll be steamed in just a minute. Okay, our onions are steamed now. Here we go.
We add the beans now.
Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah. And this time, then you can add the seasoning of your choice. We have salt. You can add some salt with herbs that comes too.
Like the herb amare or the
Herb amare or veggie salt.
Mhm.
Those are very good.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's enough.
All right.
Now, then let's have a spoon here so we can mix that.
Okay, so you're going to make a burrito for us.
Yeah. Some salt, and you have your choices of your seasoning there in your home. So this is very easy to start with.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's
just a few
simple.
ingredients and no added fat. I see.
Yep.
Okay, but we've got some here that's
Yeah, these
chilled.
are
Maybe it'll be a
done,
little
done.
easier to
Yeah.
work with. Whatever you want to do. You can use it warm or however you want to do that.
On this one now, we're gonna be doing some burritos. You can do a burrito casserole. It will be looking just like this.
I see.
Okay, on this one, you're gonna put some cheese on top.
And what kind of cheese is that?
Okay, this cheese is the one that it names vegan chunk. It's from organic tofu.
I see. Okay, so we've got a vegan cheese here. Some of the cheeses have an ingredient called casein, which is actually a milk derivative. So this one is completely vegetarian. Oh, and it looks great.
Yeah, it looks very nice, and you want to put it in the oven to heat it up and melt the cheese, whatever is your choice. And this is how it looks now. Isn't that nice?
Oh, it looks so good. I just love the colors.
Yes.
Now show us exactly how you made those burritos.
Okay, let's put the beans in the tortilla. So we have a whole wheat tortillas
I
here.
see, yeah. Usually that's a white flour tortilla, so that came from the health food store, I suppose?
Yes, and some supermarkets you can buy it.
Okay.
We have some
now,
rice.
she's putting some brown rice in there. That's actually a Spanish rice recipe that you have on in your StepFast resource guide. It's just delicious. Okay.
So let's put some
Got
green,
onions, and you've got the black olives there.
some cheese.
All right. And you're just going to roll that up. Now, I notice you're not putting the lettuce in there, but we have the lettuce in this one.
Yes, this is for the casserole.
I see, and this one's ready to eat. And you see you've got that side dish of that beautiful Spanish rice. We also have got a bean bowl there that's using the baked tostitas,
Yeah, baked tostitas.
and guacamole, everybody's favorite. Now tell us about this dish.
Yes, this is a pastelón azteca or Mexican lasagna. There are layers of corn tortillas and beans with the topping of the sauce
I see.
and your
all the
cheese
all the
and
other
the other
toppings.
things, yeah.
Oh, and you would have all those ingredients on hand anytime.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Now, Zinia, what about dessert?
Well, the dessert is a tradition in Puerto Rico during Christmas to do some rice pudding or arroz con dulce. This is made from coconut milk, fresh coconut milk, and with brown rice in this recipe.
I see. Sounds delicious. Or you could actually make it from the...
Yes, we have this coconut rice pudding It's bought, and it's with brown rice, and it's a very simple recipe that you can always do in your home.
Oh, wonderful. So as you can see, whether you're south of the border or right here in your own home, Spanish cuisine is wonderful vegetarian fare.
And now for your assignments. Continue to stretch, warm up, and exercise, but remember, we caution you to stay within your exercise capacity. Any symptoms warrant stopping and checking with your personal physician. Continue your diet of plant foods. Increase their variety by trying new fruits, nuts, grains, or vegetables. Try one of those delicious new recipes that Barbara and her friends have shared with you. Drink only water between meals. Remember your spiritual disciplines and consider spending more time with God in the morning. Early to bed, early to rise. Simplify, plan ahead, try a new recipe, and continue to pray that God will give you the wisdom and courage to step fast.
To order your personal copy of the 12-volume StepFast Lifestyle Series and the StepFast Resource Guide on CD-ROM, contact the Adventist Book Center at 800-765-6955 or the Potomac Conference of Seventh-day Adventists at 800-732-1844 or 540-886-0771 or visit us online at www.stepfast.org.